you can see interior right here of my lovely Nissan Skyline GTR R32. And you know, it's a 1991 car. You know, there's a lot of things that work well in here, and there's some things that don't work too well. You can see my AC, these little vent things are a little out of shape, needs a little bit of love, but the AC actually works fairly decent sometimes. You know, we got this Momo steering wheel on it. I have no clue if the horn works. I'm not gonna hit it right now because I'm in my neighborhood. But yeah, I got a little Kenwood deck right here. You know, all little controls here, just mainly stock stuff. I don't know I have two of these on here, but I do know where all my gears are. I know where first through fifth and reverse is, and it's pretty easy to get this thing in gear, you know. Second, third, fourth, fifth. Yeah, fifth when it goes into fifth. But anyways, you know, it's pretty good stuff. You know, e-brake here comes up higher than I've ever seen any e-brake come up, but it's all good. No cup holder, so I could just put like wallet and things right there, and yeah, have a little, some Nismo stuff in here. I don't know where that came from, but I like it. Nismo carpet. The seats are in some pretty decent shape. I don't know if these are the original ones that came with it or not, or if he had different ones put in, but either way, it's pretty good stuff. You know, the leather and all that stuff, plastics, all that stuff in here are in really good shape for the most part. I have a boost controller here, the Greddy Profec boost controller. The thing works pretty nice. Little oil pressure gauge thing. I don't know how well that thing works because it seems to be all over the place. You know, have some other little goodies over here. This thing that speaks some language to me that I am not accustomed to. And I can't even see what this is right here, but it's something cool. Yeah, I mean, for the most part, it's a pretty decent car, you know. And you know, these work pretty decent. You know, windows do go up and down, and you know, door opens fairly well. The seat's a little creaky. Yeah, because it's old. I gotta find that creak and get that thing oiled down. Some WD-40 will do. Got some back seats, pretty good shape back there. And yeah, I wanna go on a ride. Oh, you see 320 kilometers an hour on the dash, and yeah, I gotta do some conversions to see what that actually converts to in mile per hour. American, we don't use kilometers an hour, we use miles per hour. But yeah, I mean, overall it's a pretty decent car. So let's go on a ride and see how this thing feels on the road. Oh yeah, I can plug in my phone, which is awesome. So awesome. I can actually listen to music through the stereo, unlike my Corvette C6 Z06 that I have no way of listening to music through my through the car at all. So that kind of sucks on long drives. But yeah, let's go on a little ride. All right, so going on a little ride with the R32 GTR, and man, this thing, even though it's like, you know, a car that is getting ready to be it's 29 years old, almost 30 years old, and it still handles really, really well. I mean, this thing is pretty well balanced. And now, yeah, this is not completely stock. There's actually quite a few modifications to this thing. It has coilovers all the way around. It's all adjustable stuff. I can adjust the ride height and adjust a lot of different stuff with the suspension. You know, it has different braces, different places. I'm still trying to figure out where, you know, I haven't even gone underneath the car to check out the sway bars. I don't know if they're upgraded or not, but either way, it's pretty stiff, and this thing handles pretty good. I mean, I like to compare it to my Corvette Z06. It's very sturdy, you know, but it almost feels like it has a little bit better comfortability in it when it's driving. Like, it's not as harsh as my Corvette. My Corvette does have some KW Club Sport coilovers on that, and it can be pretty harsh, but it's still fun. I love it. But yeah, I mean, this thing overall, you know, feels great. You know, it drives well. I've been able to kind of drive it on the highway, drive it on the regular roads, all that stuff, and it's great. You know, it feels like a car you could, you know, run around daily with and not have any issues. And this thing is modified. I mean, it is making some pretty good power. Still trying to figure out this whole left-hand shift thing, but you know, it's not bad. I'm learning. I granny shift this thing. I don't really go crazy hard with it. I know a lot of you might want me to, you know, sit there and bang gears and stuff like that, and I'll do it for you. Just pay me the money if the transmission breaks, because this transmission is stock. and the car is making over 500 wheel horsepower. So you know, if you want to pay for a new transmission, I'll do whatever you want. If not, then keep quiet. But yeah, no, this car is pretty good. I like it a lot. You know, it feels good, turns good. Right now I'm on some just public roads, just driving around, so can't do anything crazy unless I go to a track, but you know, can accelerate a little bit and change some lanes and stuff like that. So some of the things you gotta get used to when you're on a right-hand drive car that is a lot different than a left-hand drive car is, one, just even changing lanes, like changing lanes to the left and right. I mean, it just feels so different because you're not on the normal side that you would be on a left-hand drive car. So on this car, I'm obviously here on the right side. When I'm looking to change lanes to the left, you know, I'm like having to look over here at my mirror and look all the way over here. I'm not completely comfortable with it yet, and it's really weird. People look at you crazy because you're on this side. They're like, what the heck? Especially if they don't know cars. They're like, wait, why are you on that side of the car? Well, because I'm driving a freaking Godzilla GTR, that's why. Shifting with the left hand is definitely different for sure, but it didn't take too long to get used to that. I mean, at the end of the day, gears are where they are. And you know, gears are where they are. First is where first is normally at. It's not like on the opposite side. It's not like they, you know, flip-flopped it or anything like that to confuse you. Now that would have been a little crazy, but no, they didn't. First gear is where first gear is on a regular left-hand drive car, so you don't gotta worry about that at all. I think it accelerates pretty good, you know, out the hole. I haven't launched it, you know, so I don't really know what it'll do launching, but I'm sure it'll spin the tires because, you know, even just taking off semi-hard and rolling through the gears, you'll start spinning the tires pretty good, even all-wheel drive. So, and I got some sticky tires on it. They're like 200 tread wear, so you know, they're fairly grippy, but yeah, they still spin even with this power level and all-wheel drive and all that stuff. I'm trying to figure out this whole high cast thing that people talk about. The all-wheel steering, people say that, you know, the earlier GTRs had issues with theirs and they don't always work right and they start acting funny. I'm not sure. Maybe after more driving of this vehicle, I'll feel it. But for right now, it's all good. I haven't felt anything too crazy. Then again, I race professionally, so a lot of things don't bother me sometimes. As long as the car continues to track straight and doesn't completely jump sideways or anything like that, then we're all good. And even if it does, I'm still good. But yeah, I mean, AC works fairly decent. I think it's on right now. Yeah, it is. I need to turn it up some more because it's getting a little warm here. California in the winter is warm, and that's not a bad thing at all. All right. Luckily, I haven't ever stalled this thing, which is great. This thing handles great. Handles really, really good. I'm sure you can hear the blow-off valve and all that stuff. You can hear the turbo spooling up as I accelerate, you know. This thing is a beast. 5-speed, it's not 6-speed like I'm used to with my Corvette or with a lot of other cars. But 5-speed's all right, you know. I wish it had 6-speed. Maybe one day when I can save up a few pennies, I can throw in the R32 GTR's 6-speed transmission in here, so I can have my 6 gears again, and that will help out with a lot of different things. But until then, I gotta do what I can with what I have. But yeah, no, this thing's it's a pretty solid car. There's not too much drone in here, like nothing annoying to me. I don't know. Some people like don't want to listen to their exhaust at all in their car, and if you're that type of person, then you're, I don't know. I think as a car person, you should love the notes of your exhaust system. I don't care how loud it is. The turn signal, this thing's on the right side instead of the left. I'm used to it being on the left, so every time I want to change lanes, I always go over to the left, and I'm like, oh, and I miss it. I can't hit it. Public road, so you know I can, you know, accelerate decently to the speed limit. I don't get a ticket or, you know, anything crazy like that, but it definitely picks up and gets to the speed limit pretty good. And as you can hear, it sounds really, really good. This car like sounds epic. Honestly, getting this Skyline GTR is probably one of the coolest cars I've ever gotten in my life. I've wanted a GTR for so long, and you know, finally was able to come across a pretty good deal for one. You know, it was for the money and what it had. I mean, it was modded. It had all the mods that I wanted. I didn't have to go spend extra money on all those mods. It was already here in the US. It's already registered, all that stuff. Oh, what the heck is this person doing? Sorry, I had to get in front of somebody who was being a little bit of an a-hole. I don't know what he was doing, but trying to scratch up my GTR. You can't scratch up my GTR. It's a GTR. It's a Godzilla. You can't scratch her up. Come on now. It's like, basically what happened was there's one lane and someone decided to get next to me and try to make it 2 lanes. Can't do that. It doesn't work very well. But anyways, that problem's done. But yeah, no, I've always wanted a Skyline GTR. Finally got one for a pretty good deal. Upgraded turbos on it, HKS turbos on it. Upgraded suspension. It has a Duluck body kit on it. You know, 18-inch wheels, some really sticky 200 turbo tires on it, full exhaust on it. Upgraded coils, upgraded cams on there. It's 272 cams. Just upgraded a lot of stuff. You know, I can go through the whole list. I don't have it memorized, so I'm still learning everything about this car. But you know, it had everything that I wanted on it. Minus it didn't have an R34 6-speed transmission on it, which would have been great. But hey, you can't have everything. I got to go find that and source that myself one day, so I can have a little bit beefier and stronger transmission, and maybe one day turn up the power. The boost controller is nice to know how much boost I'm making. That's great, even though it reads in kilopascals. Maybe I'm sure there's probably a setting on there to turn it to PSI, because I'm not used to KPA. That's different for me, but PSI makes a lot more sense for me, at least. Thing accelerates great. It accelerates pretty strong. You can change lanes pretty good on it. You know, I gotta look to my right real quick. Boom, I'm on this side, but so different being on the right side instead of the left side. But it's still cool. It's an experience. Every time you jump in this car, it's just an experience, and I love that. You know, it's fun. I love driving. I really want to drive this thing every single day. I know I probably shouldn't, but I like it a lot. I'm gonna drive as much as I can, and I still gotta give love to my Audi S5. I have a supercharged Audi S5. It's a 2010 with a JH Motorsports supercharger kit on it, and then also have a supercharged Corvette Z06, which is a pretty fun car. A lot of people know me from that. Sounds great on it. I actually want it to be louder. I mean, it sounds pretty good and pretty solid right now, but I will make it louder. Probably gonna straight pipe this thing and just make it ridiculously loud. I just like ridiculously loud cars. That's just me. When you race in NASCAR, you get used to ridiculously loud vehicles, so that's what I want. You can hear the cams. Sounds awesome. Well, alright guys, so that's about it for this drive. I want to take you along. I'm doing a lot of fun stuff with this car, taking you a lot of cool places with it. We'll probably do a build breakdown on this thing at some point when I have time, and maybe find a lift. We can go through the whole car and show you the whole car, everything's on it, and I'll learn some things that I probably haven't seen yet. Hopefully a lot of good things and nothing bad. But either way, it's a fun car. I love it.